Okay. So, yeah, I was toxic to one of the medications I was on. So they pretty much had to wean me off that completely. Now I've got really awful veins and they junction off in all different directions. So you can get a cannula a little bit of the way in and then it'll shoot off. So it's really hard to get drips in. And then they collapse really quickly, my veins. They are not nice at all. Um, so, of course, I was admitted. It was a very long night. Um, the next day, obviously, my mum came down and brought her best friend in with me, and I think they were terrified. And of course, I knew I had to eat. I hadn't eaten in months, and it wasn't because I didn't want to eat. I put it out here. I do not have an eating disability. It's not because I anything. The actual smell of food made me, I guess, regurgitate. I honestly, it wasn't because I didn't want to. I just couldn't eat. So they needed to get me to start eating again. I was terrified of getting put, like having a feeding tube or something. And that was the next step if I didn't eat. Um, so I was in there a few weeks, had to have multiple surgeries to see if they could work out what was going on. I had met calls with my heart. Then when they finally sorted all that out and decided everything, I was sent to a rehab facility where I had to learn how to eat again and put on enough weight. And I was so weak from malnutrition, my hair fell out. I used to have this beautiful long hair. My hair pretty much fell out. I couldn't walk. I couldn't stand for any period of time. It was really, really rough. So I was on a walker. I had to go to physio 3 times a day. I had to um, learn to eat again. Everything was like a baby's diet. Everything was mushed, and it was disgusting looking and everything. But it's what I had to do. So I was pretty much in hospital for a whole month with all this. Then I came home with this insight that I'm going to get, like, I had this goal in mind that I'm going to go to my niece's birthday party. That was my vision, and I had to get through to get to that. And then just as I was about to get out, COVID hit again. And so I had to go into lockdown again. So I was at home in lockdown and couldn't go to this birthday party or anything, which is pretty bad. Um, but you've got to be grateful for what you've got, which I've learnt now. I'm still working on it. I've had to recreate bonds with my children because I guess they didn't know who I was anymore. Because I'd been so snappy and angry at them or anything or at the world that it came across I was angry with them. So I had to recreate these bonds and, because I love them with all my heart. Um, but then things just kept going wrong. In August, I think it was, went to the doctors because I had a lot of pain in my arms and my hands, in my joints. I thought, oh, maybe I've got arthritis on top of everything else. So I went to the doctors, they did some tests and booked an appointment for me to see a rheumatologist. Of course, that would have to be a video call or a Zoom call because of COVID. And I got in very quickly and they were like, oh my goodness, these are off the charts, I guess, results. So I need you to come in and see me in person, which they weren't supposed to do, but that's okay. They redid the test first and he said, I need you to go and have an MRI immediately, book it in immediately, like in the next day or two. So I did that first. And then I had to go and see him in person and he did all these things. Does this hurt? Does this hurt? Does this hurt? Stand up, and everything. And then he rang me back after he got the results of the MRI and everything. And he said, okay, I've got an appointment for you to see a surgeon on Thursday. This was Tuesday. So I had to see a surgeon on the Thursday. And so I guess this is going out of mental health a bit, but you've got to realize how mental health can also play on other health. So on the Thursday, I went and saw this surgeon. On the Monday, I was in surgery. They had to do a muscle biopsy They said it'd be a small incision, yeah, and that it'd feel like I'd been kicked in the thigh by a horse. Well, they didn't tell me if it was going to be a Clydesdale on freaking steroids, but that's another story. It all came out fine. I just had to come off one of my medications again. And I must say, while I was in the rehab hospital as well, I did get to see a new psychologist. I'll go back to that. And I begged him and begged him. He was a psychiatrist. Begged him and begged him, please, please take me off this medication. And he said, yeah, sure. Oh my goodness, God. So they've taken me off this medication, and it was like a cloud lifted off my head. Like I could see clearly. My thoughts came out. They weren't jumbled. It was amazing. So I said to them, I don't ever want to go back to that other place for my TMS. The TMS does work for BPD and all that. Trust me on that if your doctor suggests it. I said, do you offer it anywhere else? And he said, well, we do here. So I said, can I please have it here? Like, that was fine. So I had to have my brain mapped and everything again there. And while I was there, they did treatments. So this is back in June. They did treatments for the brain mapping. So we're talking this time last year, I was in hospital in a really, really bad way. And I had however many treatments while I was in there. And it wasn't nearly as painful as it was in the other hospital because they were able to get the setting down a way lot. So I was on, I think, a 94 setting in the first hospital. In this one, a 70. So that's a big drop. So a big drop in pain. So it gets to the stage now whereas I can actually have it and fall asleep during the 20-minute session. And when I go in these days, I go in and have sessions, 2 sessions a day, pretty much 20 minutes each, and it can be anywhere between 10, 15, or 25 to 30 sessions per visit. So it can be a lot, and it can get you down, especially when it's COVID and you can't have any visitors, but you have to make the most of it. They do have other programs to build up things like how to really work on like relaxation. Relaxation is a really, really big important tool in your mental health. If you can relax, if you can do some meditation or mindfulness is fantastic. So I learned to do mindfulness and aromatherapy, and that was just all amazing. And all this was offered in this hospital. They also had a pool where you could do hydrotherapy, and that was amazing. And you could do guided walks, and you could, yeah, like the amount of things that you could do in this one, they were optional. They did want you to do them because it is beneficial for you to do these programs while you're in there, but they didn't come and threaten you like when I was at the other hospital. We're going to kick you out if you don't do this program. You have to do at least 4 sessions a day, blah, blah, blah. So this was really good. Because of COVID, we couldn't eat together in a big, massive dining room. You had to eat your meals in your own room and then put the tray outside your door, which was a shame, but on the other hand, it wasn't too bad. You have TVs in your room, so that's good. But yeah, most of the times I was admitted, I didn't get to have visitors, so that was a bad thing. But when I say about mental health being a stigmatism, it's not that bad. Probably 8 out of 10 people you know have it in some form or another. I'm not saying that as an actual statistic because I really don't know, but the more people that I talk to about my story, it seems to really resonate some way with them. And this new doctor I've got, this new psychiatrist, he also said that after listening to me and asking me questions, I think you might also have bipolar. That's not good for my husband because I don't do a lot of the things that bipolar people do. I don't do drugs. I don't drink excessively unless I'm out at a party, but I am 40 years old now, so that's very rare. I don't I've never been the type to just go and have random sex and things like that, which are big things with people with either BPD or bipolar. I tend to have the highs where I will go cleaning ridiculously, or I will go spend a lot of money that I don't have. Like it's not on Ferraris or anything because I don't have the money to even do that, but it might be $500 on clothes where we can't afford that. And then it's going to take 2 months to be able to dig us out of that hole. And I'm like, oh, it's $20 here, $20 there. What's the big deal? But it actually adds up, and it's taken me a long time to realize that. And I'd get to the stage where my husband and I'd have a fight or something, and so I'm like, well, stuff you, I'll get back at you, I'll buy some gems on a game or something. But I don't realize that I'm not hurting him, I'm actually hurting me too, because that's only going to hurt the family, because I can't provide for the family because I've just spent that money that was allocated for something else. So that pretty much sucks. I've promised my daughter that she could get a couple of rabbits, and then I've had to go to her saying, hey, sweetie, I'm really, really sorry. That's got to go on hold, and that's my fault. And, I feel guilty as hell about that. But she's so sweet and so understanding. It's like, it's okay, Mommy. I'm like, you will get them eventually, but at the moment, it's just not going to happen. And so I know this has been going on and on and on with this blog, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I just think that mental health is something that everyone should know about. And if you are regular with your doctors, regular with your psychologists, even I see mine bi-weekly, so fortnightly, and that's fantastic. I can talk to him about all my concerns, especially with the car accident, because I've now developed PTSD since the car accident. I hate it with other people driving. I don't feel like I'm in control, and I'm like, slow down, slow down. And that's never going to stop. I start going like this. Anything I've got going on with the family and everything, which I can go into another time. But yeah, I've grown up divorced parents since I was 6. So, and back in the 80s, that was unheard of here in Australia. Like, you didn't have divorced parents. I was like in the minority. These days, it's the majority that has divorced parents. So yeah, and I grew up in the country. I now live in the city pretty much. So a lot of things have changed. But yeah, so I'll end it here, and I'll try and I guess see how this video goes too. If you'd like another one, just post in the comments and tell me what you want to know about, and I'll let you know. And then I want to eventually be able to link this in regards to chronic illness and how that affects, and chronic pain can affect your mood and your mental, and how it's a vicious circle. So thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.